Yeah, so it goes. What's going on? I'm Twisted, and I got Steve over here. He came to talk to you guys. Actually, I picked him up. And I kidnapped him. Really, he was in his truck playing some Resident Evil, right? And I said, let's go out to eat. And then last minute, I got him in my truck. We went out to eat, and then I said, hey, let's go over to the house to do a live, or we could do it in one of the semi trucks, but we chose to do it over here. You know, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's against his will right now, is what it is. He's like, yeah, I can't say nothing. You're driving.
Yeah. The terminal's one way, the house is the other way. Next thing you know, we're veering towards the house. So how can I say no?
So whenever it comes to gaming, are you online gamer or are you?
Well, over the years, I've stepped back from online. It's mostly single player and pretty much just passing the time, simple stuff, especially on the truck.
How many games do you have on your Steam?
Steam alone, somewhere over the 400 mark.
How about all your big collection at your house?
Over the 1,000 mark.
Over the 1,000 mark.
I mean, if we're going back to NES, 64, PS1, PS2, yeah.
What all systems have you had?
I was keeping up with them all up until PS4 and the Xbox One. I still ain't got a PS5 or the new Xbox yet, but since making the jump to PC, I just kind of stuck PC. It's much more simpler, easier between laptop and desktop, especially being on the road. PC's the way to go for convenience.
PC's the way to go. How about the Xbox gamers? I had an Xbox on my truck.
See, I just want to do a console on the truck with discs. I grew up with discs. I used to love breaking the seal on the case, that plastic smell, popping it open. You get the little guidebook in there, which they really ain't done for the last 10, 15 years. But
10 to 15 years?
Probably.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember the PS2 games always came with like a little map, lures, all that. So now mostly they just come with one little card with DLC if you pre-ordered it or bonus download content. So,
okay. But
going to PC, I transitioned to digital. So, digital makes it much more convenient too. But, I ain't had a physical copy in a long time.
So how do you download your games on the truck?
Well, on the truck, it's hard depending on where you can get parked, if they got Wi-Fi. What helps, especially with Prime, with our deal at Flying J and Pilot, every 50 gallons, just like getting a shower, you get a Wi-Fi credit. It's good for 48 hours to use, and it gives you 24-hour Wi-Fi access. So you stop to fill up at least 50 gallons. Not only did you get a shower, you got yourself 48 hours to use a 24-hour credit. So say you finish your day out, you get somewhere, and make it to a Flying J, but the next day you stop at a Flying J or Pilot, you got that Wi-Fi credit. You just go on your laptop or even your phone, tablet, if you watch movies, activate it and sign into your account and just redeem it. Now you got 24 hours access for it.
So you play games, and then when you go to sleep, you probably update it, right?
Yeah, that's the best when you're sleeping, especially at night. And if you're able to be connected at night, a lot less drivers on there because everybody else is sleeping, so the bandwidth is a little more free. You have better download.
Now, do you have like a steering wheel? You have a controller to hook up to it, or are you keyboard and mouse?
At home, I'm keyboard and mouse. I got a few that I'll make exceptions for on the truck, but mostly controller. I got one of those clipboards that you just swing over the top of the steering wheel. I put it at the highest setting, up, but not up, but down, in and up as much as it goes. And lock it in this way. It's almost like a platform. And what helps with that clipboard that they have for the trucks, it has a lip on the bottom, so it stops it from sliding off the wheel. So it locks it in.
Oh, okay.
And set that up there. I got a cooling pad for my laptop because I try running high settings because I'm all about the graphics. So I got the cooling fan. It has enough level under it to get the breeze laptop on top, and it's just you set your chair right in front of you, like you're sitting in a chair at home.
Okay.
And yeah, I just run the wire to the inverter and I keep it all around the steering column so I can get to the back if I need to get in the back, or climb out if I need to go out to the bathroom or something. It's real simple setup, really easy.
So Wi-Fi, do you have a hotspot? Do you use your phone ever, or is it just strictly the internet from the truck stops?
It's a mix between my phone as a hotspot or the Wi-Fi at the truck stops, because depends on the truck stop, depends on the signal. Those are all factors you gotta think about, plan for. I know when I'm traveling across the country and I know where I'm stopping for the nights, I know which locations I want. Like, you got the Flying J in Amarillo. You stop there, the Wi-Fi is good there. I stop there a lot. If I have to do a reset or get stuck for the night, if there's wind or whatnot, I know that Wi-Fi is good there. If I'm going through New Mexico, different story, because I've tried Tucumcari, I've tried Santa Rosa, really Albuquerque, along the 40, Albuquerque, and sometimes Jamestown. You know, they're the Flying J's there, the Wi-Fi's are okay. And then Love's, they got their Wi-Fi. They're okay too. But usually you get somewhere where the Wi-Fi's not working, it's not connecting, or it's just really slow, then I crack out the phone. Or if I know if I'm at a shipper a day early and they have overnight parking, I'll just use my phone.
Some of the shippers have Wi-Fi, right?
Yep.
Some of them have the free Wi-Fi. Is it any good, or is it just don't even try it?
It's okay if you're gonna like watch movies and surf and stuff, but for downloading and updating games, maybe not so much. It'll take you a while. Definitely not for playing online. Even some Loves are like that. If I'm trying to do World of Warcraft, that steady connection just ain't all that steady.
So you do play some online games.
Yeah, here and there.
Okay. How much time, on average, how much time on a solo truck would you have to play your games? A week.
A week, you could probably get about 6 to 10 hours throughout the week. You know, that's an hour or two a night. Because if you get parked, everything's going good. You just set it up, start playing right away if the connection's good. Depending on what you're playing, if you're online, if you're offline, if there's an update that came out or a DLC to download. It's all about your setup too. If you have to break it down into a backpack, or if, like me, when I was solo, you just take it off the wheel, toss it onto the bed, you know, close it, and just put it on the bed deep enough so with the bumps it ain't working its way off.
Okay. You know what? For a laptop, how bad is it to be in that freight liner bouncing up and down, shaking it all up?
It's not an issue at all, as long as it ain't on a hard surface bouncing around. See, me being on a team truck, I have the backpack, so I just pack it all up and it stays on my top bunk on the mattress, so it could bounce around all at once. It's not banging into anything. But now if you leave it on like a countertop in the back or strap it onto something, that's a lot of physical, hard hits. That might weaken it pretty good.
Aren't you nervous about like a hard break, it's flying off, landing in the floor, breaking?
Nah, because the way I got my top bunk set up for storage, I wedge it between the new Freightliner's got the airliner type storage up there, so it's kind of right against that on the bed in the corner, and then I got my shower bag in front of it, which I clip to the top bracket where if you lift the top mattress, it hooks in, so it's all kind of secured. Those two shower bags we got up there pretty much hold everything else back, and because they're clipped. I mean, we've hit some hard bumps and hard breaks. Nothing comes down.
Nothing came down. That's good.
It's all about the setup.
So, you also had a Nintendo Switch on the truck for a while.
That is great when I remember to bring it. Mainly shippers and receivers. Once you get in your door, you know you got a good hour or two. For me, it's not enough time to set up a laptop and get my wires running all nice and neat and boot up a game on my Wi-Fi. You know, by the time I get all that done, you just start getting into it, and next thing you know, your bills are ready, or you're unloaded, get out, and you got to pack it all down, and you're in a scramble. What makes the Switch good?
Quick.
Switch is quick. You can just throw it on the passenger seat, run in, get your bills, get out, and get going. And it pretty much pauses and stays right where you were.
So on a team truck now, since you're a team truck right now, do you play like every night for a couple hours before you go to bed while the truck's going, while your teammates
I've
driving?
I've tried that once or twice, usually when I'm with friends and whatever game we're playing at the time. If there's an event going on, I'll tough it out for it, but it is rough. Trying to sit there, especially on a controller, you got everything bouncing around you. You got to kind of put it between your feet just to stop it from bouncing around the bed. And it's uncomfortable at times, but the other biggest problem with that is the signal because you're traveling, you're going between the cell towers if you're using your phone for a hotspot. So you're going to have a lot of signal drops, a lot of disconnects, which can interfere a lot depending on the game you're playing.
So lag.
Lots of lag and a lot of disconnecting and timing out. So that's a big factor with trying to play online while moving. But if you're doing single player, yeah, it's a comfort thing. If you don't mind the truck bouncing around, you bouncing around trying to focus and
Play your game.
yeah, it's been a long time since I did that. And the only time I would do that now would be, say, an update or a new game came out and I had to download it and blow up my entire hotspot to do it. I'll just set it up on the passenger seat, just leave my phone on all night while the truck's moving. This way I wake up in the morning and either all of it or most of it's downloaded.
Have you been to some spots that you couldn't get Wi-Fi? Period.
Yep.
Like not
No
your
Wi-Fi,
phone,
no
nothing.
signal, middle of Utah, Wyoming, even Idaho, and even some parts of Texas. Yeah, you get those days and you're forced into like a reset on it. So you know you ain't getting nothing at all. So that's where single player games come in handy. They're already pre-installed, and as long as you don't connect online, it don't need an update. So usually it's ready to play.
And where is some of the best spots to be playing online games through your tethering?
Surprisingly enough, cities. If you're in Atlanta, you want to go for that Petro. You want to be on the edge of a city, not too far out. You know, like Albuquerque, you want to be in it. Orlando, you want to be there. Tampa, Dallas, Fort Worth, that pilot up North Fort Worth on the 35 by the airport and all that. That's a good signal, at least for Verizon, because then that depends too. If you got T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, Cricket, Boost, and Sprint, and a few others I'm probably forgetting, depends on your signal. If you know you got good signal. I use Verizon for everything, and it kind of holds up pretty good. My worst zones for Verizon got to be Arizona and New Mexico, though. It's always iffy there, especially more so Arizona.
Yeah.
But yeah, you find yourself sometimes where you can't use hotspot and the truck stop don't have Wi-Fi, or it's just a nightmare connecting. So that's where single player games
And stay out of the rest areas then.
Oh,
Nowhere.
well, no, some rest areas you actually still get signal. You'd be on your hotspot, and they actually hold up good because there's not a lot of people in the area. So it helps with the bandwidth and the cell towers. But again, you want to be in the cities or whatnot. Like Illinois, I never had a problem in those rest areas through Illinois, Iowa. Nebraska gets iffy in parts. Eastern Nebraska, you're good there. But pretty much east of the Mississippi, Midwest up there, Ohio and all that, yeah, you're good in all those areas. Whether it's a rest area, truck stop, or shipper receiver.
I was thinking like only the Northeast up there.
Northeast, again, depends on who you got for service, because I know with Verizon, everything from the tri-state, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, all the way down to the Carolinas and Georgia, I've always had really good signal in that I-95 corridor. And surprisingly enough, everywhere in California, from San Diego, LA, Barstow, middle of the desert, Barstow, I get good signal. Especially, not so much at the Flying J, unfortunately, because that's my favorite stop in Barstow. But if you're over at the Loves and the TA there, that other side of I-15, signal's a little better on the Verizon side.
Trucking along with Kiersey says, who has time to play? Not me.
It depends if you're team or solo, and how dedicated you are. But it's also, for me, I'm not I don't get to play as much as I used to when I was solo. If I'm lucky, once a week. If I'm lucky, otherwise it's every 2 or 3 third week on a reset. That's where I get most of my fun
Scotty
time.
B says he wish he had time to play all those games. Way too busy for that. And it's not that we're playing games all the time. It's pretty much when we find time, we're playing games. Like
Yeah, when there's nothing to do. Like if you're at a yard or you're trying to get truck work done, obviously you're not playing games in between it. You're focusing on getting your equipment up and running again and getting back out to make money. But say you're a day early for your load. You deliver tomorrow at 8 o'clock at night, and here it is noon, and you got nothing but time. That's where it helps to have a console or Switch, PC, just to kill the time. So you ain't just sitting there watching movies.
Candace Rush says, I've been watching all of your videos. I want to get my CDL and leave my job I have done for 16 years. I'm nervous to make the switch, but I definitely want to come to Prime Inc. It's a great company, and I was in the same shoes. Like, I wasn't at 16 years, I was at 13. And what I will tell you is that I was nervous to leave, like super nervous to leave, and I was sick getting on that Greyhound. I was leaving my family, everything. Like, I was sick, and I'll tell you what, like, I have not been like disappointed. Haven't been like, you know what, I made a huge mistake yet. I mean, I just felt like I've been blessed and keep on doing it. You got anything to add to that?
If you want to get your CDL, it's not a bad thing to have in the long run. As nervous as you are, the greatest thing to keep in mind is in the long run, it's for a better outcome. Because at least it's always something to fall back on. If, say, you didn't work out at Prime for whatever reason, at least you'd have your CDL as long as you made it through to get the CDL. And Prime don't work out, there's other companies, or you can work your way into the owner-op field, get your own truck at your own pace. But it could be hard leaving somewhere you're already established. I mean, I can't really talk because my last job I was only at for 9 months.
Kirsty says, I left USPS after 17 years. Should have come to Prime sooner. I wish I would have came to Prime sooner. I wish I would have found my way to trucking. Everything happens for a reason, though.
Yep.
Oh my God, me too. I make good money and people think I'm crazy, but trucking is a passion and I've had it forever. You know, especially if it's your passion, come do it. You know, there's one thing to make money and not be happy and be stressed out and just feel like you're never getting ahead. And there's another thing to make money and love what you do.
Oh, yeah. Even though I came out, it really wasn't for the money. It was just kind of, yeah, why not? Sounds fun. It's interesting. More of a challenge. Driving a truck. I knew nothing about trucks. I came out 6 years ago, and now it's not really a job to me. It's fun. It's like, oh, where do I get to go tomorrow? Where do I go after this load?
Yeah.
See the country, travel, and once you get your backing skills down, it gets challenging too. When I'm running late at night, I got to run over my shift, and I know we got to get parked because we got to sit for the night and not deliver till the morning, and it's going to be a late night. Everybody always has to think, what about parking? Is there going to be parking? It's going to be packed when I get there. The only mentality I keep for myself with that is as long as there's one spot, I can get it. I only need one spot. But it's taken a few years to get to that confidence because I like the hard spots too. Even though I'll take a pull through whenever I can because it is easier. You always want to go for the easiest if you can. You don't want to risk backing too much because every time you back, you risk, not paying attention here and there. So whenever you got it back, just always double check. Never hurts to get out and look. You can get out and look as many times as you want. You can only hit somebody once.
Oh, I like that. That's
what I've been going with because I don't want to hit nobody. I don't want to deal with that paperwork.
Jesse says, what's up, players from Pittston? Great terminal up there. I love that terminal. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
That's my
Pittsburgh's-
favorite terminal.
Really?
I know you kind of like Salt Lake. We don't like Salt Lake on this channel, though.
I like Salt Lake because I watched it transform to what it was to what it is, and I mean it's just a little more peaceful out there. The scenery is better than Pittston. I'm gonna have to say that. I'll die on that hill because it is a bigger hill, but I love the scenery in Salt Lake. The weather's always nice too, even when it is snowing. It's fun.
Well, you love driving in the snow, though.
Oh yeah, more challenging, but
Gene-
more risky.
Gene Scott says, "What's up, everyone? Hope everyone is doing great and having a great time on the road. We are truly blessed to live this life." See, there you go, Gene. And Gene, man, I'm glad you're happy and you're doing great, man. Gene's been through some stuff in his trucking journey, and you know he got tased and everything, and he's still here. He was a little electrifying.
Hmm.
You missed that one.
Yeah,
I'll have
sounds
to
like it.
show you. It was funny.
Yeah.
Kingsley, what's going on? So, how about you? You went to college. How close were you to finishing your degree?
I think I had like 3 or 4 semesters left.
3 or 4, and you came out here trucking?
It was one of those things. You know, roommate's like, he was getting tired of his job, and I already skipped a semester for a job because I realized the money ain't bad. It's helping with the bills, and I fell into that whole I chose money over education slot, and my roommate just brings up, let's go be truckers. It's good money and it's fun. And, I was only 22, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? That sounds fun. Let's go for it.
And he said y'all were going to run a team, did he not?
Yeah, that was the original plan to run team, but we had 2 different training, 2 different trainers, 2 different scenarios, and we had our own problems with our trainers and with our training. And yeah, it was rough for him, and it was a little rough for me too, trying to get along with the trainer, especially I had 2 trainers, like a lot of students these days come and do. You get your PSD trainer and then a TNT trainer. So my PSD trainer, he was cool. He really taught me a lot. He cared. Showed me, when you get ahead, and remember this, remember that. See how this guy backs in here. We used to watch, do our half-hour breaks. We'd watch other people back in, and he'd say, yes, he's going to turn his wheel like that. He's going to turn that way because he's looking for his trailer to be there. He gave good pointers and what to look out for in truck stops. And actually, a lot of what he taught me, I still carry now when I'm in truck stops. Then when I got into my TNT phase and I got a new trainer, he just basically treated it as a straight team. All right, your shift, your problem. Get to where we're going. Don't kill us.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to figure everything else out on my own through that, especially with the Qualcomm. All the macros, navigation stuff. With
Did
the
he
Qualcomm.
teach you that stuff?
He would go over it once or twice. He'll just say, yeah, here's your macro 1, here's your macro 42, drop trail. You got to do this in this order. Arrival, your docking, your depart, and drop and pick up trailers. Everything else I kind of had to figure out on my own.
So do you wish that if you had a pick, would you have wished to go with somebody from PSD all the way through TNT?
I would have rather had that. It would be more easier. And then again, you get the opposite for some people. They'll have a bad PSD trainer and have a good TNT trainer. So it all depends mainly on your first impression. And I got to say, my first trainer I had was really cool. He was really patient with me, learning. Back in that day, we still had sticks. So I had to learn the gears on top of learning the truck, the roads, and the signs, way stations, and all that, figuring that all out. But he was very patient going through it all.
And I did PSD and TNT with the same trainer, and
Lucky.
on PSD, I had to learn the Qualcomm. I had to learn my hours. I had to learn everything. That way, after I passed my test, it was like, boom. Hey, you're driving tonight. I'm going to bed. Get us from here to there. And I was like, you're going to bed? And he's like, yeah, you got a CDL now. He goes, what do you think we've been doing? We've been getting comfortable with each other's driving. Now we're comfortable. It's time to make some money. Go. I was like, What?
Yeah. Well, I remember my first trainer. He would not let me hook up to a trailer, at least back up to it. He'd back up and connect with the Kingpin. Then it was up to me to go put the airlines on and crank the landing gear. Yeah, I did all the leg work.
With those short legs?
Yeah, we got around. Took a few extra cranks, but I got it done.
Yeah.
But he would never let me mess with the Qualcomm. It always faced towards him, and he would just tell me which exits to take and all that. He never taught me any of the macros. All he focused on with me through my PSD was just driving, maintaining the lane, and watching my surroundings and focusing on the truck and the traffic. Every time we got near a shipper or receiver, especially the ones he knew we had the time, he'd have me take an exit or go to a truck stop just before our destination. So he would take over just to bring it in, to get us in, get dropping hooked or in a dock or whatever. Never did any backing with him because he waited for all that for the pad. That's where I did all my starting backing. But it hurts in the long run when you get a TNT trainer. And when I got into TNT and I didn't know none of that, he had to teach me the Qualcomm, how to back up to a trailer and not miss the Kingpin. But he kind of ran over it all real fast because we left out on the night of the Super Bowl. As soon as he became my trainer, he got in the yard and said, "All right, meet me here, bring your stuff, get in, let's go." I'm like, "We can't even watch kickoff?" We headed out that night. I remember my first load with him was going to a Dollar General distribution in Oklahoma. I remember I went down the Oklahoma turnpike. It was fun, but I had to figure it all out.
You got your Salt Lake City lovers in here, man. Did somebody say Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
Salt Lake City in the house? You see that?
I'll take Salt Lake. I mean, especially being team, we get out there a lot more than Pittston. So usually when I need truck work or repairs, PMs, I go for Salt Lake. So it's newer.
What they do with that cool wash bay, the one with that was dug into the ground?
They tore that down. Now it's and they actually added a row of trailers where the drop trailer lot was. You had the drop lot, then you had the wash bay. Now the wash bay is gone, so they added one more row for the trailers. Oh. But now they have it where you stay connected. So if you're just pulling in for the night for a break or waiting to deliver or killing time on a high val, you could park in that row and stay connected and get right back out. You don't have to go deep into the lot.
That's good.
Oh yeah, the new terminal's nice too. It's squeaky clean, and the grill there is 24 hours now, just like Springfield. So I mean, if you want a burger at 2:00 in the morning,
I heard if you could catch it open. That's what I heard.
Really, I was just there 2 weeks ago and the week before that for a week with shutdowns due to weather and getting repairs for the truck.
No, I'm joking. That's me, by the way.
Yeah. I know you're getting mad because Salt Lake sounded so much better.
No.
Yeah.
My favorite terminal is Pittston, PA. Straight up. And look, gonna get some Uncle Joe's pizza. Last time I was there in Pittston, whenever I went to Jersey, you remember me going to Jersey?
Your last solo adventure?
Yeah. I went to get Uncle Joe's and this. He sold it to this other guy now.
Yeah, when I was there last. Yeah, they got new owners. Yeah, I ain't been to them since because it's actually been a while since I've been to Pittston and had the time to get to Uncle Joe's. But yeah, I heard that last time I was there.
Good pizza though, you will enjoy it. I like that pizza.
And the Colossal pizza is good.
You got a Colossal pizza?
Yeah, why not?
Did you eat the whole thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe once.
Maybe once. That's a big pizza. What is it?
I think it's 24 inches.
Big pizza. You took John with you, didn't you?
No. There won't be any pizza left.
How long you been driving now?
February 1st was 6 years when I started TNT, but I came out mid-January. So, but I go by my higher date when I trifected, achieved all that. So yeah, February 1st, 2017, when I came.
Oh, you know why?
And here we are, April 2023, and I've worked up from company to lease to ace lease. So
I just look at it as whenever I left the house in October.
mm,
Let's see when mine is. Did you ever find out about that million miles? Did you hit it or not?
it says I'm at the end, but I never got no notifications. I was gonna go down to see my fleet manager today, but he was off site, so
It's
I'll try
probably because you're
tomorrow.
an owner op now. They're all like, you ain't getting none of this.
No, they still offer it. I've seen a few owner ops.
I'm just kidding. I don't
Ace
know.
leases. Yeah, I got to get to the bottom of it because as far as I knew, I was still, well, now about a year away, but I might have hit the miles because I've been team for the last 5 years.
What
But
page is it on?
info, you go right here. This, and then you go portal,
I'm already in there.
you go info, then you just hit million mile.
No, I want to know where it says your start date.
Oh, that would be.
You go through this thing so hard. I was already in the screen.
Should be under. Oh yeah, portal and progress. There you go.
Oh, progress.
Progress. Yeah, that shows you all your stats basically. Should say hire date up there.
Higher date November the 12th.
So that's when you got into TNT and passed your.
So I left out on October the 13th. So I was on PSD for an entire month.
Yep, and going through all the schooling and all that.
I got sick my first week. I was sick in the truck, and my trainer, he did like most of the driving then. Like I was sick. So 1 week was because of me, and then 3 weeks to learn everything. I guess I was a slow learner.
I don't know. I was with my PSD trainer for 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, and I actually stayed almost an extra month with my TNT trainer just to make sure I had everything right.
Why?
Well, because I was getting near the end of it, and I still felt like I just wasn't ready yet. Because I was like,
So
Wait.
confidence.
a little bit, yeah. Because I was like, I really ain't backed into enough docks. You know, we were doing a lot of dropping hooks more than anything. I wasn't really backing up the docks. I didn't get too much backing in because when I was in TNT, I did nights, so I would actually spend my half hours a lot of times. I'd go into the truck stop and go straight to the back and do my half hour and look for a spot. And I'd always find a spot or two, and I'd practice. That's where I got my late night practicing in, backing up. And I would have guys help me, here and there when I was kind of getting nervous or whatnot. There's a lot of times where I didn't think I'd have it, so I'd pull away and swing back around the lot and reset up. And I learned the setup is really the biggest part of
Super.
backing. Yeah.
Super important. Super
And
important.
I got my own setup technique going for a while. And I mean, I almost feel bad for some of the drivers when they would get out to help me. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. They see me struggling. They come, hey, yeah, here you go. You're good here. You turn the wheel there. I get in. I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks, guys. You're awesome.
And then you pull out.
Pull out 5-10 minutes later. and get going again. But that's where I got most of my practice.
They were probably like, "What just happened? that driver came in here and he just."
I would spend my entire half hour getting into one spot sometimes. And then I get in and then leave in 5 minutes, go into the bathroom, get ready to go, and just head out.
And my TNT trainer, he didn't let me stay any extra. He just said, "We're done with your miles." I said, "Yep." I said, "I might need some more work." And he said, When's the last time you woke me up? And I was all like, I don't know, like a month ago. He's all like, so you think you haven't delivered anywhere in like the last few weeks or months? And I was all like, yeah, but I think I still need some help. I was just scared to go get on my own truck. He's all like, look, man, sometimes you got to kick the little birdie out the nest to see them fly. You'll fly. I was like, come on, man.
Well, that would be the other thing. When I was finishing my TNT, I was getting better too. Better than I thought because, my TNT trainer would stop yelling at me after a few weeks. Then we kind of became friends, and it's like, okay, now we knew what to expect of each other. We knew we'd still get the job done. We knew where we were at. And it kind of just became tolerable. And I'm like, yeah, I can squeeze in a few more weeks. Why not? And keep that guarantee going a little bit.
Have you been to that place in Manuka?
No, but I just passed it last week when I was going across the 80.
Have you been in that terminal?
No, I passed it. I saw it from the highway. You can see it from the 80. I don't think you got to take the exit at that Pilot. I hate that Pilot.
Did Denver get their new yard?
They did. I've been there. I actually kind of like the old yard better because
What?
I like the building better because you had a bathroom, laundry, shower. This new yard don't have that, and it's a shared yard.
What?
There's a lot of MVT trucks there. The row in front of us is that Systems flatbed company, and I think I've seen some Swifts in there too. So at least they're on the other side of the lot. But yeah, there's a gate code to get in. I think it's 40241
You're just
pound.
giving out secrets on the live. You can't do that. No.
But it's good to help because I never got no message saying what the code was. I got stuck at the gate. But there's nothing there. It's just a row of trailers. Nowhere for bills. They do it kind of like Auburndale does it now too. Like Fontana, you got to put them in a bag, tie them onto the glad hands.
So no more showers.
Not in Denver. No, it's just
Oh, wow.
it's just one or two rows of. At least it's paved and painted. But they do have like a little cube office there. But when I was there last, I poked my head inside. It's an empty, hollowed out cube. So I don't know if they're going to add all that eventually, but. Right now, it's basically just like Auburndale drop lot with a porta potty.
How about the what's it called? The Laredo. I haven't been there since I heard we got a new Laredo yard.
We got a newer Laredo yard. It's kind of cool. Again, it's shared too. I think I've seen a lot of CR Englands in there. But we have showers there. They basically took these 53-foot cargo containers and they just stacked them. So you got two here and two here, and that's the office on the bottom floor, and the top floor is like the lounge for the drivers where they got the bathrooms and showers.
Is it nice?
Nicer than the old one, because the old one was basically that little warehouse that Mastronardi place.
It was nice in there.
They were rude, though. I didn't like that.
Yeah, but it was nice inside there.
These are nicer. It might be a little smaller, but it's cleaner and fresher. I like the new Laredo yard. It's cool.
They just heard your accent, and that's what it was. Because they were cool with me when I went to Laredo. But I talk slow because I got that Texas talk slow kind of accent. Or that's what everyone says about us Texas guys. Y'all talk slow. So they say, you must be from here. They'll be nice to me. Michael Finney. Michael says, Twisted D, what's up, man? Just checking in, enjoying the live. Man, appreciate you coming in. I figured we would have some gamers in here asking some gaming questions.
All right, I thought that was the title and topic, but
No, I was expecting it. I was all like, oh, they're going to ask some good questions for you. And you're like the man whenever it comes to technology.
well, then again, everybody's pretty busy with their job and their life. They don't really have the time for games. I don't got nothing going on in my life, so that's all I got time for. That's why I kill my time where I can. I'm either playing on the Switch when I remember to bring it, or playing on the computer if I get somewhere with good Wi-Fi. Otherwise, I'm just watching movies on my tablet. That's all I do, especially on a team truck. As soon as we switch.
Wi-Fi at the terminals. Is there certain spots? Well, that's giving away your secrets. I was going to ask, is there certain spots you park to get better Wi-Fi at each one? Or?
Well, I can say Salt Lake used to have the worst Wi-Fi, but Salt Lake, as long as you're parked between the trailer, it's like a U. You got the trailer shop, you got the tractor shop, and then you got the new building. If you're somewhere in that little lot with the bobtails, you're going to have good Wi-Fi right there. For some reason, between the new building and the drop plot, even though you're against the building, I can't even connect at all. But no, Salt Lake has really good Wi-Fi connection. Last time I was in Pittston, it might have been a few months ago, but even out in the lot there, almost all the way to where the trailer shop is, the Wi-Fi is pretty strong. And Springfield, that's a hit or miss. I've been actually having problems since last night on the Springfield Wi-Fi.
Oh, I can tell you where to park where it's good. I know some spots there.
Well, I remember I used to park out there by the guard shack in front of Inbound, but, Pedigree took that from us.
Oh, yeah, that was a good spot, too.
That was the best spot because you were on that guard shack's Wi-Fi, and he was the only other one on it.
No, I got a better spot.
But yeah, now I just kind of just park in the general parking, and if it's good, it's good.
Truck stops, do you have to park near the building, or can you park far away from the building?
Depends on the truck stop, but you always want to be closer to the building. If you're in one of those big truck stops where it's 300, 400 parking, they got extenders out there. So long as you're near the middle towards the building, yeah, you're good.
Do you know what they look like?
The Wi-Fi extenders,
So you can park next to it?
you want to look for the poles with the lighting. You'll see a little box on there sometimes. It'll be like a manila style box or a black box. They'll have little antennas on it sometimes, but those are usually their extenders to get across the lot.
Really?
Or if you're between the building and the fuel bay, like some Petros and TAs, you got the building and you got the fuel bay, over here. If you're in between, you're pretty good because they got the receivers going between them.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I never looked for it though.
Well, that's all I look for because if I'm going to get a reset, I'm setting up my laptop and I'm playing something or getting something updated because I stay out 2-3 months at a time, so I'm not always home to keep everything updated.
I don't know if you want to put this information out, but let's get to this comment before we do that. Jeremy says he's playing the game alive. Michael says he wants to know if you're leased and what's your last week for us freight? What was your last week for us freight?
It's kind of hard to say because I was on a pretty long load because I was trying to get here to Springfield for some PMs and repairs. So my last load, I'd say my last 3 loads I can use because I've done them in the past week. I went from New York to California on where did I pick that one up? I know it was around Rochester. Yeah, it was going to Bakersfield. Yeah, and we got there early, and I had to sit in Barstow for the night. I had trouble on the Wi-Fi there. Wi-Fi didn't work, and signal wasn't good. But if you go to that Flying J in Barstow, it's a short walk to a Panda Express if you want good food, or a Del Taco or In-N-Out Burger. But that load paid okay. It was going good far, but I got my co-driver a reset that night, and we delivered. And then that's when I put the notice in that I need to get to Springfield, and they set me up with that Walmart in Colton, going to the Walmart in Pageland, South Carolina. But I had to wait a whole day to go pick that one up, so I was sitting up in Bakersfield after I delivered the previous load. Sat there for the rest of that day, the night, and during the day, and then my co-driver took off that next night. Got that picked up, and we couldn't get with Road Assist in time to set something up, so I figured I'm going to keep the load because the value on it was really good, and we went to Pageland, and of course we were a day early again. We run top speed when we can, and Saturday delivered, and then got another load that was supposed to pick up a following day, so here we are planning to sit again. A lot of sitting around, I'd say, the last 2 months, but we got lucky. I called this shipper ahead because I've been there before. I had to pick up in Moultrie, Georgia. So I called them, and they said, yeah, your load's ready. You can come get it whenever. And I said, all right, I'll be there in 3 hours. And I went down there, picked that up, and came straight here to Springfield. And it doesn't deliver for another 2 days, Wednesday morning. What's today, Tuesday? Or Monday?
Monday.
Today's Monday, so yeah, it was supposed to pick up yesterday at 6 a.m. I picked it up Saturday afternoon, so yeah, dropped it here.
But it was planned on just getting you to the yard, right? It wasn't planned on being your load.
Right. It was planned to be dropped, but if we got in and out of the shop in time, I could have finished it being a team. But yeah, we got news from the dealer. I had to wait a day or two for a part to come in, so we passed it off to somebody else. But yeah, the last week for freight, though, if it wasn't for needing to get to a yard, I'd say the last 2 weeks before that, it's kind of just been a little slower. A lot of sitting around, always waiting to pick up, waiting to deliver. That's kind of how it's been, at least the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, but you've been in the good the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going negative or breaking even.
No, the revenue is good. It's just slow. And I think that's probably why the revenue might be a little on the high side. Because if the revenue was this good and we were just going back to back, drop and go, deliver, go, yeah, the revenue might be too good.
Because this guy says, how is the lease game at Prime Inc. going? Good, bad, or break even? It's going good.
It's between break even and good. It's still on the positive side, but the sitting around, I'm only getting a load or two in a week. Usually, as a team, we can get in as much as 5 loads a week.
Break even's just paying your truck payment, right?
For me, breaking even is
paying your truck and your dad. Huh?
Yeah, I gotta pay my co-driver with his miles because he's company. I'm lease. He gets his check, and then what I get left over, if I'm anywhere between $400 to maybe $1,000, that's my break even days. And then my good days, I'm still taking home $2,800, $3,200, and that's after e-fund taxes.
So your break-even days are not that bad.
No, mine aren't. No.
You flexing on people right now. You're like, my break-even days is if I'm making less than $3,000 to the pocket. Listen to you.
Well, we run hard, and our fleet manager knows that. He keeps us busy. We don't look to sit around. As much as I like playing games when I can, I don't put it ahead of my job. I'll take the load. Loads come first. Customers come first for Prime. And I just get the load there when I can. And then if I got time, if I could look at it ahead and go look at our clocks, we could squeeze in a reset here or there. I'll take a reset when we can, even if it's for my co-driver. I can play a little bit that night. And
you sound like me, man. Like I'll get my check stub and I'll look at it, and if I don't see going to the bank more than $1,700, I'm all like, that was a bad week. That's a horrible week. I didn't make no money. Because I got used to making so much more than that. I'm all like, $1,700, I can't pay my bills now. No, I'm just...
You get spoiled.
Yeah, you definitely do.
But for me, as long as it's a positive check, I know I did good because the truck payment's covered and my co-driver has a check. And even if it's just $150, that's a good week to me because at least I know the next week should be more. So if it isn't, then there's
your fleet manager's going to take care of you. If you have a bad week, the next week he's going to take care of you.
Yeah, your fleet manager can see your pay basically, and he knows if you had a good week or not. He knows if you had a bad week, he'll probably try to prioritize you for sales to get you something a little better for the next week. Because Prime, they won't let you fail. They will try to help, especially if you ask.
You got what? 2 more years and you pay off that truck?
2 more years this July, because this July will be a year I've had it. And then, since this one's an ACE lease, I don't have to turn it in at the end, which was the plan because I'm just tired of changing trucks. I've been through so many trucks over the years. Going company. I think I went through 3 trucks company, and then I went lease. And then at the end of my first lease, I thought to myself, I paid all this money for this lease, and I got to hand it back and start over again. I don't like starting over. I want to have something to keep. And I'm tired of moving all the stuff over, too, because it's a lot of stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to keep this next one.
So from the beginning of the year to now, do you regret starting a lease purchase, or are you still happy that you've done it?
I'm mostly happy that I've done it because, to me, it feels like an accomplishment once it's paid off that, hey, I worked for this. I own this. It's mine. The only thing I don't like with it was I can say the truck itself, there were a few parts of it you could see were kind of just rushed at the dealer and at the factory. Some stuff didn't align right. Some stuff wasn't.
Oh, you and your OCD too. Oh my gosh.
Well, that was Prime too. When Prime put their equipment in, I even had a talk between Salt Lake and Springfield's tractor shops about how they put their equipment in, and they always say the same thing between Salt Lake and Springfield. At least they got different guys doing different methods. So because my truck, my right way scale is a little crooked and to the side, it's not dead center and nice. All my last trucks were, and figures, the truck I decided to buy, my right way gauge is crooked and off center. And my alarm code pad, it's not centered in the dash where they got the spot for it. It's kind of on the bottom. which kind of just threw me off because it was made to be a certain way, and the guy just decided to go under where it should be. And there were just a few things it just rubbed me wrong because it was kind of slapped together in my eyes, and some of it I can't change because they'd have to drill new holes, and I'm like, I don't want any more holes in my truck than there already are.
That thing could have came out perfect. What he's not telling you is that thing could have came out perfect, and he would have found something that wasn't aligned perfect.
I could, yeah, but at least if it's reasonable, I can understand it. But there are some things I'm like, how do you do this wrong?
This thing's driving you nuts, isn't it?
Why?
Because it's not even at all. You know what that is? That's my coaster.
It looks handmade.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it nice?
Yeah.
It's
Unique.
bugging you because it's not even, huh?
Not really.
I'm surprised it's not. Yeah, he's seriously OCD over here. Severe.
Everything has its place. And, yeah.
This truck is always clean. I don't think I ever got in your truck when it was dirty.
The most dirty I let it get is dusty, and that's when we're doing a lot of back-to-back.
I helped him move from one truck to another truck, and like I knew how he was, so I was moving something across, and it had a busted soda in it.
The Red Bull case.
Oh, a Red Bull case.
Yeah.
One of the Red Bulls bust in there, and I was like, "Well, this can't go in there." He took his case of Red Bulls to the truck wash, hosed it out with a sprayer, drained it all out, got it nice and cleaned up before it would even go into his truck.
Yeah. Like I say, I don't think anything has spilled in this truck yet. Not even a drop.
I've never seen anybody move trucks that when they moved out of one truck, it was clean. Like you didn't even have to go vacuum it out or nothing. That thing was just spotless in there. I was like, what the
I work hard keeping my truck clean, and it's harder on a team truck. My solo days, I had a routine when I stopped. As soon as I got parked, first thing I did, cracked out the duster, dusted the dash, the gauges, cup holders, and the door frames. Then I crack out the Windex, do the windshield, do the windows, do the mirrors. And then I was done. Then I get my laptop, throw it up on the wheel.
You let your teammate help you clean, or are you just like, get out the way?
Mostly I'm like, get out the way because I'm doing this. I'll do the door jams, even on the bunk, on the hatches and all that. But if I have him help, I kind of give him the floor mats and go, hey, go shake these out.
Go shake these out.
Go sweep the floor and get the blowgun and blow out the pedals and all that. But yeah, or some heavy lift and pick up this case of water real quick and sweep under here.
Oh, you make them do all the heavy lifting?
Yeah, I'm doing all the acrobatics, getting underneath the seats and in the grooves and everything. Yeah, I get in the seat upside down sometimes, get under the pedals. I get every angle.
So is there anything special to the way you clean? Like, is there any tip that you have that just works out perfect that somebody might know of?
I'm just going to say the best thing you can have on the truck is that little blowgun that they hook up to your seat's airline, because that helps with the dust. And when you get in like muddy lots and gravel lots, you can just blow out your shoes as you're getting in the truck. The grooves on your shoes, and you can put them over on the passenger side real quick. And if you got a floor mat for the driver's side like I do, you just kind of hang that out the window and blow it off, and it gets all the heavy stuff for you. At least if you got to get going. If you're in a rush to get going down the road, I'll still take a minute or two out to just blow out what I can, get all the heavy stuff out. And then when I get to where I'm going or where I do a break, then I'll crack out the spray bottles, drags if I need to.
How's your fuel mileage? Are you getting good fuel mileage in that truck?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's kind of hard to say for the last month because I'm part of my reason that I am here is for a diesel leak in the engine. I already had it fixed once in Salt Lake about 2 weeks ago, and it's starting to leak again because all they managed to do is just tighten up all the hoses and ends for where the leak was starting. And they said if it started leaking again, it's something a little deeper in. And it started leaking again, and it's something deeper in, so I'm waiting on the dealer here. But before I noticed the diesel leak, yeah, I was getting good MPG, even with that flow blow.
Fixed today. I thought you were waiting on.
No, that part was coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
They had me come in today because with the Freightliners, they're having some issues with the steer axle, the pins and bushes or whatever he called it. Yeah, there's the rubber piece in there. It'll either fall out or start drying out. So you get this knocking sound. And I had it on my last truck, and it was weird, but I was near the end of the lease, so I kind of didn't care because I'm like, next guy's problem. But I mean, that one took over 500,000 miles to start knocking. This truck started after when I started rounding the 100,000 mile
And
mark.
there's not a next guy that's
No.
going to be a problem for this time.
Yeah, this time it's my problem all the way. So now I had to find out what the problem was and what I got to do. And thank God it's under warranty, so it didn't cost anything to fix. Just my time.
Tyson yards are horrible muddy.
Oh yeah, Tyson's. Most Tysons, yes. It's either gravel or mud. Even Sanderson Farms, where I picked up in Moultrie,
I'm
Georgia.
surprised you don't use the Walmart bags. I see a lot of people.
I've
dip their
tried.
shoes in there.
It is not worth the headache because you get stuck in the mud and you can slip because you ain't got no
Yeah.
traction if you got those bags on your shoes. Your best bet, like under my bunk on my passenger side, because I got that other door, I keep a pair of boots. So I'll try to get to some gravel or something, or if I gotta, tough through the bags to get over to that side, I'll wear those boots through the mud, get them all nice and dirty and nasty and whatnot. And then when I'm getting ready to leave, I'll just put them in a Walmart bag, tie it up, put it back under the bunk, put my regular shoes back on, and climb back in the truck. And then when I get to a truck stop, especially if they got a hose in the fuel bay, they'll just hose the boots off.
I just put my Crocs into sport mode and go.
I can't do Crocs. I can't do flip-flops. I need shoes. But, yeah, the dirty lots, I can't stand those. I hate that. Especially if it's raining. You get there after a rain or as it's raining. Just like that national beef over there in Liberal, Kansas. That's a mud pit.
I'm not crazy. I hear a knock in my steering when I'm in traffic jams. Thanks.
Yeah, back on that subject. Yeah, I noticed with my last truck, when I'd be pulling out of a truck stop, pulling out of my spot, and as you're turning the wheel and the truck starts to lean, you'll hear like a knock and I can't describe the rest of it, but it's like a rattle knock. And it's usually with a heavy load. Sometimes if you're lighter, but depending on how the load is weighed, how your weights are, you'll get a knock in your steer as you're turning or as the truck leans or when you turn the wheels going pretty fast. So I asked the dealer about that when I was getting my diesel leak checked out, and they said, yeah, it's the pins and the bushes and the rubber under there. It's in your steering linkage and all that. He says those tend to go bad. And he actually told me it's under warranty, and they got me in today to get it fixed. They had to raise the whole front of the truck up, and he had to get under there and change it all out. But it's under warranty, and he said, I'll be back. And I'm like, I don't like the sound of that. And he's like, well, it's still under warranty, but he says about every 130,000 miles, they'll start to go again, and you'll start hearing that knocking and grinding. That's it. It's like a grind. So then, yeah, it just
Fix that. Why can't they fix that?
same thing with the mirrors on these freight liners. You get that little plastic flap that always has to start flapping, and it gets bigger and bigger, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
flies off.
The freaking around the side of it.
Yeah, that little trim piece. And I hate it because I watched mine come off a few days ago before I got here. And there was a car past me at that moment. I'm seeing my mirror vibrate. I can't even see out of my mirror because it's wiggling the whole thing. I'm like, this thing's going to snap off right here and hit that car. And it snapped off, but luckily, I guess with the wind, it stayed along the side of my truck. Didn't have to bounce off their windshield and start a fight.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I can't stand those. I tried taping it up all the time. I guess you could say part of my OCD. I can't wrap something around the mirror because it just looks bad.
It's going to leave that sticky residue from the tape, too.
I use electrical tape. That's why it's easier to peel off. But the wind always found its way under it and peeled it right back off. So I've been trying all different grades of electrical tape, but it just leads to you're going to have to wrap all the way around the entire mirror. And I just can't come to do that.
You should get like one of those, those things that they put for wires, where you put two wires together and you put that sleeve over it, you heat it up, and shrinks to it. You should just find a giant one of those, slide it on there, heat it up with a torch.
I did talk to another driver, and he gave me a good idea. I ain't really got to play around with it yet, but he was saying get some double-faced tape, like Gorilla tape, and just peel that back a little bit and put it on the back end of it and stick it to the mirror, and it should hold it to stop the wind from getting in there
really?
to rip it off. I haven't tried it yet. I've been wanting. I was going to do it when I got on home time, but I lost the piece before then. Now I got a new one. The dealer was able to replace it for me, so but it's still a little loose. I might still, when I get home, peel it back a little bit and see where I can find something to put together. Do some double face tape on it. So I've seen Crete drivers and CR England drivers go by me, and they just take a black screw and just drill in. I'm like, that's one way to do it, but it looks ugly. So,
well, if you put it high enough, I don't think anyone will see it. Well, you'll know it's there
when you're passing or getting past or in a truck stop, you look over, you'll see a screw sticking in their mirror. And I don't want to drill anything into my mirror too, because what if I hit the mirror or a wire?
This guy bought a brand new Nintendo Wii because he had a scratch on the screen that you couldn't even see.
Switch.
Oh yeah, Switch. My bad.
Well, that was because I was playing it while the truck was moving. I put it down real quick at the end of the bed.
While his teammate was driving before y'all think that we're driving playing video games, because we're not driving and playing video games.
Yeah, that's too hard. But I put it at the end of the bed, and I just went to go in the fridge, get a soda or something real quick, check on the route. Hey, how's it going up here? Yeah, okay, yeah, we're still alive. Good. And I heard something crash in the back, and I went back there to see it. It slid between the little bunk window and the mattress, put a little nick in the screen, and
that you couldn't see.
At the right angle, you could see it just good. So when I went home again, I had to replace it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's some OCD right there. Now I see why you don't bring your games on the truck that are not in the case. Or
discs, physical copies, yeah. At the size, they look good on the shelf at home.
Yeah, they do. Your collector's editions and stuff, I mean, I'm impressed with your collection.
Well, I spent years building them up. I miss the old midnight releases. I'd love to go to some of those again.
And do they even do them anymore?
Certain ones, I assume. My friend was telling me when that last God of War came out, they did a midnight release, but he says they just show up just before midnight, get in line, get their copy, and get out. When I used to do midnight releases back in the day, there was parties, they'd have snacks. They put one of the games on display for everybody to play a little bit at 8 o'clock at night, and you had till midnight.
They would have that party bus or a food truck over there. And
yeah, one by me, the GameStop that I used to go to, it was in a little strip mall area where they had a Starbucks and another restaurant. All the other shops nearby noticed, the midnight releases, so they would stay open late just for us, and we'd go in to get snacks and food and drinks, and they'd make a few bucks on us.
You're putting them out of business with your Steam library.
Yeah,
that's probably why they ain't doing midnight releases.
Probably it's easier to pre-download it the day before, and then as soon as midnight hits,
boycotting them, man. You put in the midnight releases out of business, man. It's all your fault.
Well, I'll take convenience.
I'll take convenience. Now it's all good. Now you don't care about going to them.
Well, I'm not home for them anyway, so it's not like I'm going to go to a midnight release in Montana for a game.
I like it better. You get a digital copy. You can't scratch it. It's
and it's binded to your account, so you ain't losing it.
And you can download it days before. It just won't play till midnight.
Certain ones, yeah, you can download it the day before or 3 days early, so it's ready. So when it releases, you hop right in.
And I try to change my time zone so I could play it early, but nope.
Yeah. Well, they got that figured out.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out a way to fix that.
Not when they're just. A lot of them are time zone locked, so midnight Eastern is 11 Central, 10 Mountain. So depending on where you live, you don't have to stay up till midnight. But yeah, it changed.
Yeah, I mean it's for the best, I guess. Well, we're at 1 hour, so I'm gonna get Steve back to his truck and let him go play his video games. Watch this. Somebody that's seen you on the live tonight, they're gonna find your truck at the terminal and see you in the driver's seat playing your games, and they'll be like, "Hey, I saw you on the live tonight."
Now my curtain's closed.
Oh, you got the curtains closed already?
Well, yeah, because where I'm parked right now at the terminal, there's a big old spotlight that likes to shine in, so you can't have none of that nonsense when I'm trying to sleep.
True story.
Yeah.
But we're out of here. Thanks for everybody that showed up. Hopefully y'all got something out of the live tonight. I know if you're into gaming, you might
Might have
watch
got a
this on
lot.
the replay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people watch one of my gaming videos that is not that great, and I've been having a lot of comments about gaming, so I'm trying to find some gaming setups and stuff like that to do some videos of. But like always, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks everybody for showing up tonight. We are out of here. If I can find the ending thing, we'll just end it with Peg.
Hey everybody, hit that like button, borrow my leg to smash that ding dong bell.